guys, in this episode of Plumbing Stop Zone, I'm gonna be sharing my thoughts on the 16th and final episode of the 7th season of Fear the Walking Dead. And yeah, this is probably the longest time I've waited between watching the episode and reviewing it. Because it's been, I think, about like 3 weeks maybe since I watched it. I don't know, it's been quite a while. Probably about 3 weeks. And the reason why it's taken me so long to review it is just because there's not much to talk about, first and foremost. And second, because it just didn't feel like a finale. So, the reason why I don't really think there's much to talk about in regards to this episode is because it is just a Morgan and a Madison episode. Barely anything happens. Sure, we have a little bit of an interaction between the two in the episode, but there is literally nobody else from the rest of the cast in this episode. There is no resolution of anything that we've had until this point of the season, and we just have some foreshadowing or build-up for next season. It definitely fails, even though it was trying to do something similar to the finale of last season, but I feel like last season at least kind of tried to finish off and put every character at a certain place and gave them the attention. Whereas in this case, it's just a Morgan Bottle episode, and I feel like the finale of the season is not a good place to put a Bottle episode on. And the worst thing about it is that I was actually really excited about this episode. Based on the trailer of it, and the fact that Madison was going to be returning in it, I was actually really excited about it. I wanted to see how these changed showrunners who have improved their writing, or at least changed the way they wrote their characters and dialogue, how are they going to be handling Madison? How are they going to revert her more to how she used to be in the 3 OG seasons? Because in season 6 at least, Alicia and Strand were actually acting and talking like themselves, like how they used to talk in the original seasons. That's the one thing that I'll give people who criticize season 7. The dialogue definitely was worse compared to season 6, although there were still some really good things about it, at least in the first half of the season. For whatever reason, they were really able to nail the first half of the season, but they really kind of fail in the second half. And for season 7, I really will not accept most criticisms for the first half of the season, because I actually genuinely enjoyed the first half of the season for the most part. It's the second half where it kind of lost me. So, like I said, I was really excited about seeing how they're gonna handle Madison with this new kind of writing. And I wasn't even like worried about whether they were gonna do her justice or not, whether they were gonna write her properly or not. I was not worried about that at all, actually. But I should have. Because it's not necessarily that they made Madison bad. It's just that, I don't think she acts like Madison from the OG seasons in any way, shape, or form, first of all. Second of all, she's not interesting. The way they have written her character now is not in any way interesting. Maybe there's gonna be more substance to it next season, because this definitely can be seen as like an ass pull of reintroducing her, so they didn't really have much substance to add to her character. But I just feel like the role that she plays in the story right now could have and probably was going to be played by somebody else, because there's nothing about the way her character is written in this episode that is specific to Madison. There's literally nothing. Sure, they kind of still tie her character into the story of the episode, but I genuinely feel like it might have been a better episode if it wasn't if Madison wasn't in it. Because I don't think she contributed anything to it, in my opinion. Like, I wasn't that excited when she found out that Morgan knew Nick and Alicia. I wasn't excited when she found out that both of them are most likely dead. I just wasn't excited. Like, the most excited I got was at the end of the episode, where they teased some bigger stuff, I guess. I'm curious what they're going to do next season, that's for sure. If they can do one thing at the end of a season, these showrunners, is that they can definitely tease you with a cool idea and then completely fail in executing it. Although the showrunners have said that they are gonna be reinventing the show again in season 8, so who the fuck knows at this point. But they teased us with this big ship, which could be or can be the ship that Michonne sails in her final episode in the main show, because it does look kind of similar. And it shows that Padre is actually a thing, and that Padre is stealing kids, which kind of came out of nowhere, but okay. So I'm just curious, because they didn't really give us too much information in regards to it, but I'm curious where they're gonna go with that. But that was just genuinely like the most exciting part of the episode, because for the biggest part of the episode, I was just scrolling through and just getting to the next scene, because I just couldn't give a shit. Hell, the new random character that gets introduced in this episode was actually more interesting and likable to me than Madison. I just genuinely feel like the showrunners have taken the worst qualities of OG Madison, because it's not like OG Madison was like the most entertaining character or whatever. She was still kind of stoic and emotionless even back then, and she only got like really interesting based on her relationship and interactions with other characters, not by herself. So depending on the kind of relationship that she builds with Morgan next season, could become more interesting. Now that I think about it, it definitely could. But as it stands, it just wasn't that exciting. And it's a shame that like the coolest moment of the episode, which is Madison smacking 4 walkers with a giant ass hammer, was already spoiled in the trailer, so I couldn't even enjoy that that much. And I still don't understand why the fuck is she working for Padre? Why is she involved with it? How the fuck did she get involved with it? Because like she was stuck in a stadium in a fire. Like what, did Padre save her? Why? Why the fuck does she care? Like, since when did Madison feel loyalty to anybody? She killed Jeremiah, for crying out loud. Yeah. I'm excited to see what Padre's gonna be like, whether they're gonna have any connection to the CRM, and exactly what their story is, you know? But yeah. In a way, I feel like this might be my least favorite episode of the season. It genuinely might be. Because it has no connection whatsoever to any of the other episodes. The visuals, while still good and weirdly reminiscent of season 7 of the main show, were different from like anything we got in the other 15 episodes of the season, which is an aesthetic that I actually personally enjoyed quite a lot. So I didn't really get satisfaction from that either. It just feels like, it feels more like episode 1 of season 8 than episode 16 of season 7 is, I guess, the best way to put it. And yeah, I don't know, there was just something missing that was there in other episodes of the season. Like even the episodes that people hate, like episode 9 with Paul, the deaf guy, or episode 10, the Charlie episode. I still enjoy those episodes because I like the thematic ideas, the visuals, the emotions. Like, I still enjoy that actually quite a lot. But this episode just felt kind of bland and boring and uninteresting. And the fact that Madison barely... She didn't even show any emotion when learning that her kids are probably dead. Yeah, it is probably my least favorite episode of the season. So, it's probably gonna get, like, the lowest rating even, which is... I don't know, 7.1 out of 10. It could honestly go as far down as 6.9, but I feel like there was enough visual stuff and enough character stuff that I enjoyed to give it a 7.1 out of 10, which is decent for me. But yeah, and, like, you can even see by the amount of notes that I've written how little I enjoyed this episode. Like, that's all my notes. Compared to uh, um, compared to like Amina, which is like 2 pages, or there was, I think, in other episodes which was like 3 pages or something. Yeah, I don't know. Like, this is really shockingly little amount of stuff that I've written. So I guess let's just go over it. First thing I've written is, man, I am getting some Walking Dead Season 7 vibes from this opening. No, wait. No, Season 7, Season 5. But I wonder why I said Season 5. I think it's because it reminded me of the scenes from Season 5 where Morgan was on his own and was looking for supplies and chasing Rick's group. I think that's why I've written Season 5. Next thing I've written is really cool title card again, which at this point it's been a while, so I've forgotten what the title card was like even. But yeah, I guess it was cool. The next thing I've written is more of a reference to a show that I've been reacting to, for those of you who don't know, which is Fullmetal Alchemist 2003. And the thing that I've written down is Equivalent Exchange. And that is a reference to that show. And I think it's in relation to the fact that in this episode, Morgan's kid gets kidnapped and he offers another lady's kid for his kid. Next thing I've written is, man, that is some good music. And I think I remember the music in the episode being actually pretty interesting and enjoyable. One of the more enjoyable things of the episode, but it's been a while, so I don't really remember too much about it. And next thing I've written is basically the example of how I felt about the episode as I was watching it. I'm sorry, but I really don't care about anything that's happening. And I'm pretty sure that I wrote that about 20 minutes into the episode. Like, about when Morgan and Madison were talking about, and Morgan revealed that he knew Nick and Alicia. I think that's about when I wrote it down. And yeah, like I said earlier, the final thing that I've written is, the most exciting part was the ending. So yeah. I guess I also should do a little bit of an overview of the season. It's definitely worse than Season 6. I agree. But the thing is, there is something, I don't know what it is, but there is something about Season 6 and 7 where even the worst episodes which people like decry as the worst, like episode 12 of Season 6, for example, or episode 9 and 10 of this season, where people hate them, I kind of like them. I don't know if it's just the style that they're going for, and it's like a style over substance kind of thing, but I just really like those kind of episodes, you know? So, I feel like my enjoyment of episodes this season was more relying on that rather than actual, like, exciting dialogue and writing. Like, out of all the episodes this season, I feel like only, like, episode 1 actually felt as high quality as the episodes in Season 6, and especially the first half. Everything else was more relying on my love for the style than anything else. So, I liked episode 1 a lot. Probably the best episode of the season. Episode 2 I also liked a lot. I feel like people are overblowing the hate for the baby crying. Like, it's not that annoying. Episode 3 I feel like was a little annoying because of the ghostly stuff, like the hallucinations, but I still think it was a decently entertaining episode, and it was kind of, now that I think about it, it is kind of reminiscent of like Ghost Whisperer, which is a show that I'm reacting to right now. You should definitely go and check out my reactions to it. So I kind of like it. Episode 4, which I don't remember which episode it was. I don't think I actually was writing stuff down at that point. Yeah, I started writing stuff down with the mid-season finale for Season 7, so I don't remember what episode 4 was about, actually. Give me a second to to check. Oh yeah, Fear the Walking Dead was the episode 4 was the oh yeah, the fourth episode was the Sarah and Josiah episode, which I like Josiah, so it was still decently enjoyable. Episode 5 was a little corny, but I liked the focus on Dwight. It's just that at this point it's really gotten frustrating hearing them bicker about the same thing again and again and again. Episode 6, which was the final Althea episode, I've actually come around to liking it decently. I still think it's one of the weaker episodes of the season because it feels like it's just all action, no substance, and not even much of a style to it either. And it is kind of like trying to force a deep meaning to her leaving, but it just really isn't there. But it's still okay, I've grown to like it. Episode 7 is also one of the better episodes of the season. One of the best episodes of the season. I actually enjoyed it a lot because it features all these characters, most of the main cast, so it is really fun seeing them. Episode 8 was actually, I mean, I'm not sure how I feel about it. I am frustrated with Alicia's behavior in it, but I do like, and I was like shocked at her losing her arm, so I still think it was overall pretty interesting. I don't know where to include the Dead in the Water episode, but I enjoyed that one. Like, you should definitely go and check out my review of it if you want more in-depth thoughts about it. But I liked it. At first I felt like it was a little wonky because the dialogue felt a little first drafty, and in general it does feel like they could have put more thought and effort into it, but I still think it's actually pretty solid. And you gotta remember, it is like a web series. It's like a web series at the land of an episode, so you can't really compare it in terms of quality. Like, for a web series, it's actually pretty fucking good. So then we have episode 9, which I personally actually enjoyed quite a lot. Paul's character was actually pretty entertaining, and I loved his death with the Ode the Joy playing. That was really, really cool. I actually enjoyed, in retrospect, the Charlie episode quite a lot. Like, I do think it's kind of slow and mostly boring, but I generally like the events of the episode. I just feel like they could have congested them a little more and maybe done episode 9 and 10 kind of in one thing, you know? That could have been a way to do it. Then there's episode 11, which is again one of the best episodes of the season. Although it feels more of like a Luciana episode than a Daniel episode, but it was pretty cool. And I liked it. It's one of the more exciting episodes where most stuff happens, you know. Then you have episode 12, which kind of interesting, but kind of lame at the end. It felt like, again, like most episodes, it was spinning its wheels, and I don't like the fact that John Dory Sr. dies in it. I never really thought for how long we were actually going to be having John Dory Sr., but I feel like his death is a little lame and unemotional, and I like him, and I wish we could have kept him for longer, you know? Especially because I feel like his death, from the radiation at least side of things, kind of came out of nowhere. So yeah, there's that. Episode 13, again, it was a little annoying because of the constant bickering between between Dwight and Sherry, but I love Dwight so much that I'm gonna overlook that and say it was, again, pretty interesting of an episode. It also had some references to season 6 of The Walking Dead, so I liked it because of that as well. Then episode 14, it was again just like episode 1 of this season, where you had fucking Strand constantly flip-flopping between his motivations and what he wants to do, and it is annoying. It's cool seeing those two characters interact and everything, but it is annoying how I just don't understand what he wants and what am I supposed to root for, you know, because he constantly flip-flops where he's like, I can't do this without you. I'm not gonna let you stop me from doing it without you, or whatever. Like, he constantly flip-flops like that, and that kind of ruins the episode. As well as Alicia's all of a sudden anger at Strand murdering Wes, who, again, all of a sudden becomes this bad guy, even though it kind of makes sense. But it just doesn't make sense for Alicia to be so mad about Strand killing him when he was going to kill her. Then there's episode 15, which is very annoying, because again, it has a lot of hallucinations. It has some really cool visuals, again, I like that about it, and some really cool emotional scenes between Alicia and Strand, but it is a lot of hallucinations, and that is kind of annoying. And then there's episode 16, which was the least engaging episode of the season for me. So yeah. It's definitely weaker than season 6, like I said, but I obviously will still put it above season 4 and 5. And I honestly don't know where I would put it in relation to the first 3 seasons. It's hard to really be able to rate all the seasons of this show as seasons of one show, because season 1 to 3 and season 4 to 7 are so drastically different that they cannot really be compared. It's like comparing episodes of The Walking Dead with episodes of Doctor Who. It just cannot be done because they're so goddamn different. But in terms of like how much I enjoy it, I would put it season 6, season 3, season 2, season 6, season 7, season 1, season 4, season 5. That's kind of how I would put it. But to be honest, I haven't watched season 4 and 5 actually through them. I've watched like one episode of each, so there's that. Maybe at some point in the future, after not having watched Fear the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead in a while, I will rewatch them for the channel, just like how I'm rewatching Ghost Whisperer right now. But yeah, we'll see. I do want to ask you though, what did you guys think about this episode? Comment your thoughts down below and let's have a discussion about it. And also, before we end this video, I just want to give a huge shout out to my currently 2 patrons on Patreon, Deadpool and Justin. Thank you guys for your support, I really appreciate it, it really means a lot to me. If you have decided to support me, have continued to support me for such a long time, hope you continue to enjoy my content, continue to support me going forward. Thank you very much. Another thing that I also want to tell you guys before we end this video is something about me that some of you may or may not know, that will also explain why do I look and dress the way that I do. That being the fact that I am trans. In particular, I am somewhere between a non-binary person and a trans woman. I'm not quite sure at the moment and probably won't be sure until I talk to a professional who deals with trans people, but that is where the reason why I'm telling you all this comes. I need your help. Due to the fact that I live in a homophobic and transphobic Eastern European country with a family that won't really accept the fact that I'm trans if they found out, there is not really a feasible or easy way for me to transition here with minimal repercussions. So that's why I would really appreciate any kind or any amount of support that you guys can give me with this. That said, I don't want to guilt trip you or anything, so if you don't want to or you don't have the means to help out, that's fine, don't feel bad. I just want you to know that it would be greatly appreciated if you did help me out get out of this situation. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and thank you for hearing me out. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. Also, check out the link in the description to my Twitter if you want to follow me over there, and to my Wattpad where I post my stories, because in addition to doing all these videos on my channel, I'm also a writer. And if you don't enjoy my stories or simply enjoy my videos, you can head over to my Patreon or to my Coffee account where you can pledge support and help get the channel going, help support me so I can keep writing stories you enjoy. But if you don't want to do it, that's completely fine. You can still help me out in other ways like liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and especially sharing this video with somebody who you think might enjoy it. And I think it's pretty much it for this video, so hopefully I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye!